Okay, okay. Now we are live. Hello, everybody. I am excited to be here today. We are continuing our live stream series talking about soulmates and passionate love, and this is all a part of our love and New Age mysticism series. And so we talked about what are soulmates in our last live stream video. And today we're going to talk more about 5 popular myths about soulmates. And again, this series is in promotion of my 6-week or my signature course, Healing Attachment Wounds with Mindfulness and Creative Arts Interventions. And I'm running it for the first time ever with 8 people for 10 weeks as a live group coaching program. So this is very exciting, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. But first, I want to talk about our 5 myths about soulmates. So to start, I want to give you a quote. Robert Brault said, "What we find in a soulmate is not something wild to tame, but something wild to run with." And I believe that this is because soulmate relationships, or what we experience as soulmate relationships, are usually intended to wake us up, to revitalize us in some fashion, and to force us to let go of what we think things should look like so that we can be filled up with the beauty of what they actually are. So in our previous videos, we have come to define a soulmate as a partner who will stimulate you in soul deep ways, primarily to catalyze soul growth. But soulmates need not be a lover. They could be a close friend or family member, someone that facilitates soul lessons for you in one way or another. And there's no rule book that says that soul lessons have to be painful. They can be equally as catalyzed by a deep feeling of inspiration or curiosity or creativity and enthrallment. But if we cling to our ego attachments, our idea of what things should be and should look like, then they can often prove to be difficult experiences. And so this definition of soulmates is different than karmic relationships. So karmic relationships, according to a variety of New Age literature, can be just as passionate, but are really more about settling shameful karmic debts from past life experiences. And so these are powerfully amorous, these experiences. And the more amorous it is, the more likely it is that those previous experiences were deeply painful, because it takes a lot of love to make up for those types of experiences. And so there's a certain level of conflict and stimulation of the most deeply buried parts of yourself in a karmic pairing, for example. Now, you might hear the terms soulmates and twin flames, and I've heard them used interchangeably. I've also heard people talk about twin flames as being a stronger connection because you are basically 2 halves of one soul. Now, I don't think that that's true. I don't believe that you are half of anything. I don't believe that you are half a person. You're not incomplete. Your soul is complete, and it always has been, but there can be instances where our power and our energy can feel lost or taken away because of trauma or circumstances in which we are helpless and vulnerable. But nothing is ever lost that we cannot uncover for ourselves. And I use the word uncover very explicitly, not recover. It's uncover, because it's always there. It just gets covered up. And so if you've ever read the writings of a rather famous person, his name is Edgar Cayce, you'll find a different approach to this idea of twin flames specifically. So Edgar Cayce describes twin flames as souls that are here for a collaborative and constructive purpose to affect a significant change in the world. So that could appear as romantic partners, or they could come as best friends, family members, or a group of all of the above. But their efforts are purposeful rather than geared towards specifically a kind of antagonistic soul growth. So the energy isn't just being bounced between you, in this case, in a romantic partner. It's that instead of just bouncing back and forth between you, it becomes something that expands beyond itself. So this is really closer to my definition of what I call ascended love and partnership. And that is someone who has already accomplished a higher level of consciousness and is looking for purposeful building as opposed to stimulating these most sensitive aspects of ourselves. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that your soul stops growing, but it's really more that the curriculum changes. And so if you find yourself in a seemingly predestined yet difficult relationship experience, and a spiritual approach to contextualizing that experience is useful for you, then it might help to dispel these 5 popular myths that I have gleaned from the New Age literature and mysticism about soulmates. So let's just go over those 5 myths. The first is that a soulmate is your other half who makes you feel complete. They are your one and only. Now, I would say instead of looking outside for love, we need to look within. And so each of us has and carries a divine spark of love. Love really lies at our core. And great spiritual traditions of the world teach us that all we need to do is recognize that love. And once we do, we can recognize and access it at any given moment. And if we can recognize our own divine spark, our own love, then we don't need someone else's love to feel complete and whole. Okay, at least not entirely. And it is that essence of love that we want to share with others and have them share with us. It's not a sourcing, it's a sharing. And so this myth kind of postulates that we are attracted to soulmates because by being with that person, we are inspired to become whole within ourselves. But remember that it is the inspiration that we are longing for because we are already born complete. We just need to recognize the beauty of our own soul and then be able to share it with someone else. Now, secondly, you have just one soulmate who keeps reincarnating as your lover. Again, a lot of the literature out there suggests that this isn't true, that soulmates are actually plentiful, that they can reincarnate in a variety of different forms and roles, and all of that is going to be dependent upon what lesson you need to learn in a certain lifetime. Okay. Thirdly, you will know your soulmate instantly because you will feel a deep connection to them. There will be fireworks and so forth and so on. Well, I'm going to refer to Shar Margulies on this one, and she says that when you feel a tingle or you have those butterflies in your stomach, it's not necessarily because you are connecting to a soulmate. It could simply be biological chemistry. And you can't assume that someone is your soulmate when you have an instant connection, and you cannot assume that they are not if you don't. Because as I said before, soulmates are here to help you with soul growth. So it could be that the lesson for you to learn is about how to develop love slowly and gradually over time. Number 4, if you don't find your soulmate or you believe your soulmate is the one that got away, you are doomed to a lesser relationship or to have no relationship at all for the rest of your life. Well, passionate and exciting soul-shaking partnerships, again, they don't have to be with just soulmates. What if you meet a new soul and decide to embark on a new exciting journey together? Now, I believe that love and growth are really the 2 primary purposes that we are all here on earth. And when we open our hearts to an intimate partner, we can attract compatible energies of all types that may have goals that resonate with our own on a soul deep level. And lastly, that your soulmate is predestined. Now, I feel like sometimes when people espouse this myth, they are using it as an excuse to stay in an unhealthy relationship that they know that they should leave, or to avoid the work of making a current relationship better, or to avoid having to seek out a relationship at all because they are too afraid. And this is somewhat of a debate of free will versus predestination. But I have a tendency to think that both come into play. So I sort of view it like a roadmap. You write down what destinations you'd like to visit on a map and you decide what your general route is going to be, but you can't know what the detours will be. You don't know what the weather is going to be like, who you are going to meet along the way, if you have to take the back roads, so on and so forth. And so ultimately the person who determines the destination of any relationship is you. And so when you write the story of your life, you decide which relationships mark whatever turning points you may have experienced. And you decide who means more or less to you in hindsight. And you put the pieces of the puzzle together to create a certain picture. And in that construction process, what was or wasn't predestined is ultimately determined by you. So you are the one writing the narrative of your life. Okay. But there are, of course, things that we cannot control. And so there is what you bring to the experience, and then there is how the universe responds. And what you choose to focus upon is how you pitch that ball. So you are pitching that ball to the universe, and then the universe can hit it back to you. And the way in which you focus upon that pitch, the energy and the intention and the momentum that you contribute to that pitch, the level of consciousness and defined intention that you contribute to that is going to determine the momentum, the angle, the way in which that ball is pitched to the universe. And that is going to help set it up for coming back to you tenfold in whatever way you want it to. So I hope that you have enjoyed learning about these 5 myths. And again, this is in promotion of my signature course, Healing Attachment Wounds with Mindfulness and Creative Arts Interventions. And this is a course that offers 7 creative, fun, easy lessons over the course of 7 weeks. And it takes you from feeling lost and confused about your romantic relationships to stepping into your fullest and most sovereign self without having to talk in circles around your feelings for hours or even years on end with no tangible results. And for the first time ever, I am hosting it as a live group coaching program with a maximum of 8 participants. We actually have 5 spots left at this point. And I'm inviting, in addition to all of that, 3 expert guest presenters to add new content to the experience. So we have the illustrious Kristen Von Fox, who is a shaman and health coach. She's going to be joining us to take us on a soul journey to recover some parts that we may feel we have lost. We are going to be meeting with Kyle Benson, who is a love and intentionally intimate relationship expert, who works with John Gottman, best-selling author of 7 Principles to Make Marriage Work at the Love Lab at the Gottman Institute. And he is going to be talking to us about evidence-based practices in managing conflict in long-term relationships. And then we are also going to be having a guest speaker, Sasha Fossa, who is a sex therapist and certified erotic blueprints coach. And she's going to be talking to us about how sexuality plays into ascended partnerships. And so again, if you want to be one of the, or fill one of the remaining 5 spots we have left in this group coaching program, I encourage you to take advantage of the links in the caption of this video. It is available now for 30% off, but that will not last because it is an early bird rate. If you are new to me and you're not familiar with this content and you want a taste of what it might be like inside a group coaching program like this, I encourage you to sign up for a free challenge we are running at the end of this video series. It's called 4 Steps to Passionate Partnership, and this is to help you become a healthy lover and attract that soul-shaking love. And it's a free, live, 4-day challenge, and it is for the wounded lover interested in building their self-confidence, becoming irresistibly attractive to a partner, and calling in that soul-shaking, passionate, ascended partnership that they want, even if they are too anxiously needy or have a fear of intimacy or believe that they're just not good enough. And so this is a challenge where we are going to focus on setting your energy and intention when it comes to the kind of love relationship you want to call in. And that's going to include a guided meditation to clear unwanted energetic cords. We are going to assess your attachment style. And in addition, we are going to look at 3 different relationship styles that evolve out of insecure attachment styles. I've talked a lot about the anxious avoidant trap on this channel, but we are going to be adding 2 more types of relationship styles to that, including avoidant pairings and anxious pairings in relationships. We're also going to do a focus wheel for turning your deepest fears into your greatest strengths when it comes to love. We are going to do a guided meditation for opening your heart chakra and raising your loving vibration. And if you do sign up for this free challenge, you also get a 32-page downloadable PDF workbook with experiential exercises. So transformation is rarely linear, and sometimes progress feels like fear, but it is time to turn trust into a verb. And so I trust you. I hope that I trust you to trust me, that this challenge can be a first step in the right direction when it comes to love. So I encourage you to sign up for the challenge. If you know you're ready, sign up for the course. And I look forward to seeing you on our next live stream video.